Hello and welcome to another episode of the Hotspur House. This is Tobey from _Spurs Center, and today we will be reviewing the Everton game. Obviously, we lost the game 1-0 and played absolutely horribly. Just embarrassing defeat. Today I will be joined by Bodie from thfc.house. What do you think of the game?
I didn't think it was great. I do think they were the better team. I don't necessarily think we were terrible. I think they just dominated all over. The midfield is obviously one of the strongest parts of the entire team, and they had the way better midfield on the day. James Rodriguez being the key part in their team. That honestly, overall, it was deserved.
We're also joined by Charlie from N17 Nation. What do you think of the game, Charlie?
Absolutely shambolic. All of the bad stuff from last season just repeating itself. And really, I don't know what to say about Højbjerg really shocked me today. I thought he started well, but he just kept losing the ball, doing nothing. Yeah, he was not very good. Actually, none of them were really good today. No one. Kane didn't touch the ball. I mean, no real danger. Not a single shot on target in the second half. Really bad. And yeah, we'll have a lot to talk about today.
So let's start with the defense, which I actually thought our defense didn't play too bad today. I thought they were fair. They played fairly well, with everything. And let's start with a new boy, Matt Doherty. How do you think you guys played?
I think he did very well. He was a lot more attacking than defensive, in all fairness. He did very well and was scoring. It was overall a decent performance. It was just outshined by the fact that we lost. Other than that, I think it was pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that except for Alderweireld and Doherty, I mean, Dyer and Davies weren't very good. I'm sorry, Davies. I mean, if it wasn't for Richarlison's shambolic finishing today, we could have lost 4-0 because he had so many chances. And Davies almost cost us early in the game with that huge mistake. And I'm sorry, Doherty was good in attack. He almost scored a really nice goal where he passed it to Kane, hit nice link-up play, and then he almost scored. But Doherty in defence was shambolic too. I mean, Richarlison destroyed him on that in the right back position. So many chances for Richarlison, and I'm sorry, Doherty needs to mark better because if he keeps on going like that, his defending's no better than Aurier. But except for that, I thought Doherty was quite good. And with Dyer, he cleared the ball a few times quite well, but his long passes were really not accurate at all. So definite improvement needed. But yeah, the defense was certainly not the worst part of the team today.
It's really weird though to me because I feel like Everton's defense. I think our defense played well, but I think Everton's defense played better than ours. And it's just I think it's odd because Matt Doherty and Seamus Coleman were both on international duty together, and every game Doherty started above Coleman. So you think he's the better player and that we'd have the better defense. And then Eric Dyer, Michael Keane, they're both English. Michael Keane didn't get called up. Eric Dyer did, and Eric Dyer played. Obviously, Lucas Digne is better than Ben Davis. There's no getting around that. And Alderweireld, I'm blanking on their other center back, but Alderweireld's better.
Mina,
yeah. I mean, Alderweireld's better than Mina. So, and I mean,
I just don't know what's wrong with our team recently. We've always had a good squad. Last season we had a great squad. I don't know why they aren't performing. It's not the manager. It's not even that they're not playing for the badge. It's just they're not. It's like somehow all our players have gotten worse, and I don't know how. I don't get it.
It's because we don't have a proper structure. If you saw Everton playing, then everyone knew Everton had a weaker midfield, and then they went and bought three really good signings, especially James Rodriguez, who had an absolutely amazing game. They already have the strike force. And their defense was good enough. They needed a CDM like we did, who could break up the play, which increased their defense. I'm pretty sure his name's Doucouré, came from Watford, and then they needed a playmaker, as I think they don't really have any plans for Sigurdsson, and they got the best they could have with James Rodriguez, and Allen was just he was just fantastic overall. So I think the main thing is we had a structure. No, sorry, they had a structure and we didn't. So.
And that was the other thing too, is you talked about how Decore played so well, but Everton's primary transfer target coming into this window was Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, and we signed him. So like you'd think that we beat Everton to the signing of a player, so we'd end up with a better player. But I mean, I'm still optimistic for Højbjerg. He's still pretty young. I think he's going to have a good career at Spurs, but he didn't play that great today, and I think Decore actually outclassed them by quite a bit.
It was only one game then.
Yeah, it's only one game. Like I said, I'm still optimistic. I think he'll have a great career and probably he'll kick on and have some better games. But he didn't break up the play like I was expecting him to. He wasn't great on the ball, but it'll get better with time.
I think one of the problems with that was he didn't have much support with him. The centre backs kind of just stayed back and let him do his thing, and then the centre backs are too deep. He's meant to just sit in front of the centre backs, break up the play, and then they clear it up the field. The centre backs were nowhere to be seen. I think he actually did break it up a lot, but the centre backs just weren't there to do their job. I think Alderweireld on the ball was fantastic, but defensively he was awful. And Dyer, usually he specialises in his headers and his aerial threat, and he had none of that this game. So
yeah.
Well, I'm sorry.
Alderweireld and Dyer both let Calvert-Lewin go. He was in between both of them, and neither Alderweireld nor Dyer really seemed to really try to go after the ball and attack it and get it out of the box. And Calvert-Lewin did, and he attacked it and he scored.
You just read my mind. I was just about to mention, how did Calvert-Lewin head it between two of our tallest players? And we always struggle with Calvert-Lewin. Like a year ago when we played Everton, he scored a header really similar, but it was disallowed. I mean, is it really that hard to mark one player with a few tall defenders? And also talking about Højbjerg, I think the problem with him today was that he played with Winks. They're two very similar players. I mean, obviously, he's more defensive. But I'm sorry, I think we should actually get rid of Winks. Because, I mean, I keep thinking, he's a good player to pass the ball. He's consistent. But he really doesn't do anything in attack or defense.
He's the Ben Davis of the center mids.
He's a liability at this point. He just slows everything down. He doesn't... I mean, I don't see the point of him. We should have played Ndombele with Højbjerg, so Ndombele is the more advanced midfielder. Even Sissoko, anyone instead of Winks, because Winks has zero creativity.
As soon as he came on Ndombele, I was amazed by what he done. His skill on the ball was fantastic. He opened up so much space. It's just he was under so much pressure to get rid of it that a lot of his passes didn't work out. But the skill to create the space is fantastic. I think Winks is actually quite a very attacking player, but the thing I don't understand is he can attack, but he sits lower than Højbjerg, and he's not really good defensively. That's why I've always said before in Ndombele, I've said maybe give Oliver Skip a shot because Skip is just as good as him, if not better. If you ask me, he's younger. He's if in my opinion, their passing is about the same, and obviously Skip is a defensive player. Yeah. So
Winks is an interesting one because I don't know if this was something that Pochettino liked in Winks, or if it's something that Mourinho likes in him too. But both managers seem to rate him quite highly, and I don't know if, like I said, if it's something that Pochettino instilled where he wants Winks to just sit really far, really deep, and just get the ball, play it sideways, get the ball, play it sideways, get the ball, play it back, get the ball, play it back.
That's the reason why he was so good under Pochettino, because Poch's style of play was to have two really quick wingers, and Winks, as a holding midfielder, would play the ball down the line to either one of the fullbacks, and the fullbacks would do the rest. It was very simple. That's all Winks had to do, was give it to the fullbacks every time. He didn't have to do anything defensively or attackingly. All he had to do was pass to the fullbacks. And now that we don't really have amazing fullbacks, obviously Doherty was good, but it's only his first game, and Davies was terrible. It makes me want to get a new left back. Winks doesn't really have a purpose in the way our team is playing at the minute, which makes him a liability.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, but I'm actually worried because Arsenal are looking very good this season already. I mean, it was only Fulham, but still, this is the difference. Um, I want to say that Kane's better than Aubameyang, but he's not getting chances. It is not
No.
fair because his Kane's teammates are not. They're not finding Kane at all. He didn't have a shot today. He only had like one header. And obviously, people are going to slag Kane off, but it just, I feel sorry for him, and he really will leave if this keeps happening. We need to create more chances for Kane. He's dropping too deep, trying to head the ball, trying to create chances. This is why we need Lo Celso to play in an Ericsson role and try to find Kane constantly, or Dele Alli. Immediately when Dele Alli went off, Kane dropped deep, and this is the problem. And this is why the players like Salah, Aubameyang, they're always going to win the Golden Boot before Kane, because Kane needs to create his own chances. The other strikers in the league, they get
Better
chances
chances are
pretty
created
much
for them.
created for them. It's just, and this is like, I was really disappointed. Our attack was potentially worse than our defense today. Even when Bergwijn came on, he did nothing. He tried a few flicks and stuff, but he really. Even when we crossed the ball in, Davies' crosses, they just kept getting headed away, and it was really frustrating. And if we don't step up, because I want to say, oh, it's just one game, but last season when we performed like this, we always said, oh, it's just one game. The next game, same thing, just one game. And if we just need to stop having these really bad, inconsistent performances. We need to actually get some consistency, win 5 games in a row, 2-1, 2-1, 3-0. We need to get the consistency up, or it'll be next season all over again.
I was really confused by the tactics in the. Sorry, it's really quick. I was really confused with the tactics that Mourinho implemented going into the second half. I don't know why he took Dele off. If it was an injury, okay. I don't understand why he subbed Sissoko on though. Sissoko's a completely different player, and it. I don't think Dele had a great first half. I'll say that right now. But Dele is an intelligent player, and his movements off the ball created opportunities for Son, for Kane, for Mora. And when he got the ball, he seemed to lose it a lot. But the most important thing was his little movements created pockets of space for our attacking players to really take and move into. And then he came off and Sissoko came on, and it was completely gone. There was no space. Everton locked us up. And then Son in the second half came into the middle, like he was more of a central player. And I didn't understand that either. He was creating a lot of opportunities out wide on the left hand side. And then in the second half, I don't remember the commentator saying his name at all. Disappointing.
I'm sorry, Son is not.
Thing is with Kane.
Also, Son doesn't get the support.
The thing is with Kane is I think he is better than Aubameyang if he was in a team like Real Madrid where he was always getting feeded passes and all. Also, I do think Kane would be better in somewhere else in Europe. I think Aubameyang's better for the Premier League because of his speed. What we really need at this point is another playmaker like Lo Celso. That's the only way Kane's really going to get any significant use.
I have to say, I've been again, not like against signing a creative mid, but I was like, there's always something else that needs to be fixed before, like, oh, we need the right back, we need the holding mid, we need a new center back or left back. But after watching that game today, it seems like we really need a creative mid. There was a rumor that we submitted a bid for Nicolo Zaniolo, and that would have been fantastic. If that's unfortunate, but a player like him or a player, I'd almost take Ericsson back, because even last season when he wasn't playing well, or he wasn't trying, he wasn't putting in his best effort, he'd come on for like the 60th minute, and we'd score after that. And we need another creative player, I think.
Talking about Zaniolo, people are getting him all wrong. He's not a creative midfielder. He is very similar to Ali. He's about 6'1". He can head the ball, he can shoot, he can dribble. He's really similar to the 16-17 Ali. He's a good player, but he's not a guy that would do a beautiful through ball from the halfway line all the way to the other side of the pitch and create a goal. He's not that kind of player. We need an Eriksen-esque player. We need a true number 10. And I think the perfect player for that would be, I mean, James Rodriguez would actually be perfect after watching him today. We should have tried to get him. Only for 20 million they got him.
20 million?
Yeah. I always said about him. I always said like we need when everyone was talking about Paulo Dybala, I always thought he's more of a striker like Kane. He's not a playmaker. We needed someone like James Rodriguez or Coutinho, and I always saw James Rodriguez as a better signing for his valuation.
I'd take Coutinho on loan now, though.
The player we need to sign Philip Coutinho if we want to finish in the top 5 this season.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Unless something big happens, there's no way we're qualifying for Champions League next year. There's no way we're going to win the Europa League. We're not going to win any trophies this year. And something big needs to happen.
That's a bit negative. You never know. It's only one game, but
yeah.
Still,
well, that's what I'm saying, though. If we keep playing like
it all depends.
If
we have another bad, what's our next game anyway in the Prem?
In the Prem, we have Lokomotiv Plovdiv on Thursday, and then we have. Sorry, 1 second. We have Southampton on Sunday.
Oh no! Is there anything worse than Southampton?
And it's away.
I'm actually not looking forward. They're actually really tricky. I was hoping it was something like West Brom, but no. Well, if we don't put in a decent performance in it and get 3 points there, then we can start worrying.
Yeah.
I think we should, talking about left backs, there's been updates on a player that we have talked about quite a lot in this podcast before, Sergio Reguilon. There have been updates that Man United have cooled down the interest, and he is more interested in joining Tottenham, and Tottenham are now
intensifying
trying
talks.
to make an official bid. So that would be excellent. But again, what I said last time, he's not very good in the defence. So we'd have an attacking left back, attacking right back, and we'd be exposed against players just like Richarlison, because these players, they go attacking and then they don't mark, just like Aurier didn't mark. And that's why I thought Davies was a bit better, because he's never really totally out of position, Davies.
No.
But, after today's performance, I don't know.
Ben Davies is a tricky one because he's not an attacking left back. He's not a defensive left back.
We might as well give Turkin a chance at this point.
Or Sessegnon. He's an attacking left back too.
That would be a great signing, but for our team, our defense isn't strong enough to be able to have someone like him in because of how attacking he is. If you think about when Poch played in the 2016-17 season, when we nearly won the Prem, if you thought about Vertonghen and Alderweireld were in their prime, and they were considered 2 of the best centre-backs in the world, big, strong, also extremely quick. And so you were able to have those attacking fullbacks, not to mention you had Wanyama and Eric Dyer in their prime, they were also fantastic, and they were there to cover. And they could drop deep into the centre-back line, so it could become a free at the back when the 2 fullbacks went up the pitch. Now it's just with our lack of pace in the back line.
We still have Sanchez.
Sanchez is quick. I really don't rate Sanchez at all. I think he's a liability.
Well, I'm going to need to oppose you on that one. I think he's our best centre-back, maybe even better than Alderweireld. He's an excellent at heading. His passing is good. He rarely makes mistakes. I mean, I don't know why people give Sanchez so much stick.
I'm gonna cut in between you two right now and say I don't think he's a complete liability. I don't think he's our best center back. He's somewhere in between. He definitely has a mistake in him. My dad calls it the Sanchez step, where Sanchez steps awfully out of position and then they counter, and a lot of the time Alderweireld is there to save the day. But I think it's important to have someone like Pace like in the back, because attackers in the Prem are
Tanganga's injured.
Yeah.
Tanganga is perfect. He's he's big, strong, pacey. He hasn't been mentioned
Yeah.
much recently.
No.
But it was interesting seeing Ledley King on the sidelines, but not a very good debut for him as a coach.
No. But like we said, the defense wasn't the issue today. I mean, I thought that Jose Mourinho was going to be able to cut this out in the preseason, but I mean, yet another goal conceded off of a set piece. I was really hoping that was something we could put
that
behind
last
us.
season. Yeah, but I don't understand where you're getting this, that we let a lot of goals in from corners, free kicks. We actually don't. Last season, we only let in like 5. That's not the problem. It's just every time there is a free kick, we look really scared. We don't look calm, and we're never calm from free kicks. And
No.
Today's goal proved that. And also what the commentator mentioned, what I found very interesting, on the end of the first half, when Son had that last minute free kick, he took it quickly, stupidly, but he had that last minute free kick where, I mean, not quickly, but he didn't cross it in. And the ref told him to step back a bit because it wasn't in the right position. Well, he didn't do that for James when he crossed it. Was it James or was it Digne? I don't
It
know
was
who
Digne.
crossed it.
Digne ended up
Yeah, it was
crossing it in.
Digne. And he didn't say that to Digne, even though Digne clearly put it forward.
Yeah.
So if he said that, we might have not lost today, but whatever.
I mean,
our bad luck just keeps continuing season through season these days.
yeah. I haven't been able to watch Jose Mourinho's full press conference yet, but I hope he didn't mention anything about that because it's. I mean, yes, it should have been pulled. It should have been put back.
He can't just keep blaming stuff on the
But
refs.
yeah, But today, the biggest thing I saw from him today was, he said, do we need a backup striker? Yes, we do. Is it the reason that we lost today? No, it's not. He seemed really upset about the international break, if you want to call it that, considering it was before the season even started. And he mentioned that Harry Kane has only practiced with the team or trained with the team once before today's game. So
that isn't that. It doesn't matter how many times Kane has trained Jose. The point is that Kane didn't touch the ball today. It has nothing to do with how much he trained. It's about the players around him that can't pass the ball to him. So again, he's just finding excuses constantly. I used to agree with him and say the same stuff, but this is going too far. You can't just find the same excuses: international duty, fatigue. Well, every team has these problems, and they don't whine. So he needs to really man up and actually get this team to win games.
He also mentioned that the blame was on him and his players today. So at least he didn't say that.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
I mean,
who else could he blame? To be honest, though.
Yeah. No VAR to be mad at this time.
I just find it like it's like the players are disrespecting the fans at this point. If they really cared about us, they'd actually try to in the last 10. Usually, when we're losing under Jose and we're defending pretty much the whole game, playing quite deep. But then usually in the last 10 minutes, we create quite a few chances and actually attack them, give it all for the points. And they didn't even do that today. I don't know. Today was one of the worst performances I've seen in quite a long time.
Well, what do you think of the goalkeeper situation? Because obviously Lloris has been a big starter. What about Joe Hart and Gazzaniga? They haven't played since. Well, obviously I know it's the first game, but what do you think of that?
For me personally, I don't mind who was on the bench. I mean, there was a lot of people angry today that Hart was on the bench over Gazzaniga. And to me, it's like neither one of them, they're not going to play unless Lloris gets hurt or injured. And then they'll be sharing game time in the Cups and Europa League. So I don't have a big opinion on it. I think Lloris is our starter. Hart and Gazzaniga, neither one of them is close to being at his level. So I don't think we'll see either one of them really get game time unless Lloris gets injured.
Oh, well,
again.
Lloris didn't really do anything wrong today. I mean, he didn't have much to do, but when Richarlison did shoot and stuff, I mean, he did save it. I mean, He had
He
one
made a few
where
saves.
he kind of mishandled the ball a bit, but he still got it. But there's nothing he could have done about the header. I mean, if he saved that, he would have
No,
been amazing.
he would be the best goalie in the whole world, probably ever.
If he saved that.
Yeah,
It was a bullet of a header. I mean, fair
it
play
was.
to
It was a great header.
Calvert-Lewin. But still, Alderweireld and Dyer. How did Alderweireld even jump for the header? I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
Practically put his hands on Diane Alderweireld's shoulders and jumped off of the two of them.
Um.
Sometimes we just feel powerless. Like even as first players, not just the fans. Like today, when the last 20 minutes, we were kind of getting a bit more of the ball, but we just couldn't get the ball off Everton half the time. They just passed it around in their own half. We kind of pressed them, but we really just couldn't get the ball off them. And when we did, Højbjerg wins the ball, then he gives it straight back to them. We need to keep the ball more. And I'm sorry, I'm actually kind of losing hope for Jose's tactics. I mean, he didn't even use his usual tactics today because Davies played more attacking. He didn't play as a third centre back. But really interesting. I mean, I really want us to see more possession football because, I mean, when is Jose going to realise that this is not working with the players we have?
Yeah.
And he needs to realise that we can't change the whole squad to like big 6 foot energetic midfielders just for his play style. He needs to realise this. He needs to work with the players we have because clearly we do not have the budget after Corona right now.
One of my previous coaches a long time ago said, it's actually kind of funny that I'm remembering this because it fits the situation perfectly. But he said, the coach or the team doesn't change for the coach. The coach changes, or the team doesn't change the tactics for the coach. The coach changes the tactics for the team. It's like the players you get, you have to be able to modify your tactics to fit them. And
he's really not. I mean, why is he again? We all know what kind of tactics he uses. Why is he using Winks? We all know that he needs another player next to Højbjerg, which usually I'm really shocked he didn't use Sissoko. If Ndombele isn't fully fit, fine, use Sissoko, an energetic midfielder that can run forward and actually create space and chances, not Winks. And I'm actually really I think I'm kind of done with Winks. I've liked him always, but if he's not going to improve, he really hasn't improved the last few years. All the other players have kind of improved. I mean, Ali's obviously hasn't, but all the other players have kind of improved. Even the ones that got injured, they're still, when they do play, they're better players than they used to be. But players like Winks, they just really haven't improved much. They just still just pass it round and hasn't improved in defence or attack. So, and now he's not even that young anymore, 24. So we need a really good midfielder, creative one, and actually I don't think we actually might not need a centre back. We need a left back, backup striker, and a creative midfielder, and I think that's it. I mean,
Charlie, you and I were saying that this was in our season preview pod that this was a big season for a lot of our midfielders, for Lo Celso to see if he can really grow into the creative midfielder role, for Dele to see if he can hit his former heights, for Tanguy Ndombele to see if he can live up to the price tag. And one we didn't mention, but I'm now realizing, is Harry Winks. It's a big season for him. I mean, he's at no risk of being sold. He's an academy graduate. He's had first team minutes, and we need the homegrown players, unfortunately.
Yes, I know, but the thing is, not many people see much in him. Like the commentator today, and a lot of people that I talk to, they say, I mean, he's average. I mean, even if you look at his highlights on YouTube, I keep trying to cling on the fact. I keep trying to cling on to the fact that they actually might be good, but he only scored 2 career goals for us or something stupid. Hardly gets any assists. Average defensively, average in attack. I mean, actually, we should start backing off Winks at this point, but I'm not impressed by him. I think we should actually might need to sell him, but only for a decent price, like 25 million, not less.
I said it earlier, but he's the Ben Davis of midfield. He's never really great. He's never really horrible. He does sort of his job.
the fact that we could sell Winks for enough money that we could get Rodriguez for 20 million that Everton just bought him for, it's just really makes you think. Like,
obviously, the Sun reported earlier in the window that Man City were interested in him for 40 million, and
well, no one can
pretty sure that
trust
was
the
fake
Sun.
because it was the Sun. Yeah, but I don't think we would have sold them anyway because we needed the homegrown player spot. But what do you think, Bodie, about all of this?
Well, I don't know about Winks. I'm not really too fussed about Winks much. I do think he isn't good. For what Jose's trying to do, I don't think he should stay. He doesn't fit Jose's play style. I'd honestly sell Winks, buy a homegrown player again. Someone like Ebireze, a central attacking mid, he plays for QPR, and
Good
convert in Ndombele into the midfield over Winks. But something I wasn't pleased about was after Jose took off Doughty, he put Sissoko in right back, and Sissoko played awful.
Yeah, Sissoko is an interesting player. I think he obviously we love him as fans, but he's not. I don't. I'm gonna get destroyed for saying this, but I don't think he's good enough for a team that's pushing to win titles. I mean, he's not great on the
No,
ball.
but he's not a starter. That's the thing.
Yeah,
He's not a starter. So I won't talk about him too much. He's definitely a good player to have on the bench. He's energetic. He can defend. He can run forward. He's a good player, but he's not cutting edge quality to help us get top four. But what I really wanted, just realised actually when you were talking about Winks and Davies, and the reason why our team is not a top four team anymore because of a lot of our players could not actually maybe even start for mid-table Prem clubs. Think about it. Winks. Would Winks actually start for someone like Newcastle? I don't know, actually. It's a really interesting topic. Like, some of these players, I don't actually know if they're even starters for these smaller clubs. Potentially, he could start for them. Davies, I mean, is he a starter for teams like... is he even a starter for teams like Southampton? No. I think Bertrand's better. And, also players like Dyer, players like Aurier. I mean, he's not a starter anymore, but players like that, I mean... actually not Højbjerg. I rate him, but players like that, I mean, even Lamella, I mean, are these players really players that a top four team should use? I don't know. Because if you look at Chelsea, all their players, even players like James at right back, he's still young, but he's still better than most right backs in the league. And like these top four teams, they have better depth than us, and their players actually a lot of their players could start for us. So we really need to. We have decent depth now, but we need to improve the quality of the depth and the quality of the starting 11. Because I'm sorry, Dyer, we've kept Dyer for a long time, and Jose seems to like him, but he's not a player. A few fans were saying recently, "Oh, we could win the league. You never know." Chelsea finished 10th, and then they won the league. Well, I'm sorry, with Dyer, not even City with playing Laporte and Dyer would win it just because of Dyer. I'm telling you, these players are just not good enough for the level that we're playing at, and it's been like that for a while. And I think we really need to make really good signings like Skriniar and Reguilon, and we'll be fine.
Speaking about new signings, and sorry to circle back, but to strikers, Alistair Gold just either tweeted or wrote an article. Sorry, I'm not sure which, but I know it was him as a source. Just said Spurs inquired over the availability of Torino captain and striker Andrea Belotti, I think.
Well, I'm actually really disappointed about this because he's a good striker and all, but really, I mean, we actually might have actually offered Torino a loan deal, and then if we want to sign him for 50 million, that is way too expensive for a player that's now, 26, 27, who 26. Doesn't even, he rarely even gets 15 goals in Serie A. He was quite good a few seasons ago, but he's not as good as he used to be. And I'm sorry, 50 million for Callum Wilson-esque striker is just unbelievable. The fact that we're so desperate to spend so much money on a player like him.
What were you going to say, Bodie?
I was just saying that Bellotti is in his early 20s. He's not in his high 20s.
He's
He's 26,
26 or 27.
mid-20s.
Is he?
Yeah, he's 26. I have it
I
right
thought
here.
he was in his early 20s.
He did score 16 goals last season, though, which was a decent return, but that's Serie A, so you have to wonder what his stats would be like at Spurs, especially with
I'd
um,
rather have him than Troy
the
Deeney.
not. Yeah, I
Troy
agree with
Deeney, we
that.
shouldn't even be. The fact that we've actually in this window already been interested in Troy Deeney and Will Hughes from Watford. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
that was
just
odd.
laughable. It's laughable.
Um,
I mean,
oh,
really.
so sorry, I keep circling back to things, but to Tanguy Ndombele. So he got 15 minutes today, which, I mean, a lot of Spurs fans want to see him start, but at least he got subbed on. And last season, in the last 9 games, he only had 2 substitute appearances. So is this a sign that we'll see him more this season under Mourinho? Or what do you guys think about that?
Well, that depends. I think Mourinho realised that the whole midfield was bad today, so he tried to give it a bit of flair. I mean, what else was he supposed to do? We needed the goal, and obviously he was going to put Ndombele on. I mean, he could have put the man on, but still. Yeah, it could be a good sign, but again, Ndombele did not impress me much. I mean, he came on, he had that good pass at the start, one good skill, but except for that, he was running into their defence and didn't really know what to do with the ball when he got to the situation. A similar situation to Ali when he was running at the defence. He just, when he gets into the key moment where he needs to pass it or try to find a through ball, I think they just run out of ideas at that point. But also, what I realised, not many players were like running through. Like you expect Son to be when he sees Højbjerg or Winks with the ball, you expect him to start cutting inside and running in behind the defenders, and expecting Højbjerg to do like a nice through ball over the top and try to find him. But I didn't see any of that today.
Yeah,
None of it.
it was disappointing for sure. I mean, I did see a few times.
I think Ndombele changed the game when he came on.
I think Ndombele, I thought he played pretty well. I mean, I know Charlie just said you didn't rate his performance, but I thought he created more. Probably, I mean, this stat is probably going to be off, but I thought he made the most passes in between the lines than any of our midfielders.
Yeah, that's quite humiliating for the rest of our team.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I didn't say he had a bad performance. His passing was on point and stuff. But if he wants to break into the team, he needs to have an influential performance, a good performance coming off the bench, and actually, like maybe even create a goal. I know that isn't his fault. It certainly isn't. He was one of the better players today, even if he just came off the bench. But the fact is, Ndombele keeps having these average, decent, almost good performances. He needs to have a really good performance, and then hopefully Jose will be convinced, because the rest of the midfield clearly isn't performing right now. So this is his chance to shine under Jose.
Well, to quote Danny Rose, you can't expect him to play once in 8 games and have man of the match performances. So hopefully he gets more playing time. And
Yeah, actually, you got me with that one.
I mean,
and yeah, also talking about Danny Rose, when I was saying that a lot of our starters or players on the bench aren't really top 4 quality. I mean, Danny Rose hardly started for Newcastle and he was poor for them.
mm-hmm.
So another player that is not really. Wait, what happened to Juan Foyth? Did he even?
He was not on the bench today, but he is still part of our squad as far as I know.
Yeah, I think Jose has no faith in him, to be honest. I've realised that since Poch has gone, I mean, Jose has had faith in Lo Celso and Lamela, but Juan Foyth, I think Juan Foyth was clinging on to getting starting opportunities under Poch because Poch is Argentinian, and that's why he brought in players like Lo Celso, Gazzaniga, and Lamela, and him too. But I just think it is the end of his first career and not a very successful one.
No, we talked about Sanchez and
much to him though, but he's good at dribbling and going forward.
Mm-hmm. We talked about Sanchez and his mistakes that he has in him, but Foyth is that times 10. He definitely makes more mistakes, and I don't know if I see him really growing into the center back role.
I think
I
Cardiff
actually see him
should
more as a central defensive mid, man. He's more skillful than a centre back needs to be. A bit like Ben White for Brighton. He really should convert into a CDM. But let's move on to some other topics. There have been updates with Milik as well that Napoli have seemingly cut the price from 50 to 25 million. But also there've been other rumours suggesting that pretty bad for Tottenham that they won't let him go until his contract expires. So next season, next summer. So what are your opinions on this?
Well, what's happening is they reduced it from 50 to 35. And one, Tottenham's not willing to pay it, and two, Milik said that he wants to run his contract down. It wasn't Napoli.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, but they just reduced it
think-
from 35 to 25 now. They dropped it even further. So part of me
Oh,
wonders
right.
how.
I don't think he's worth it.
Maybe
You don't think
Napoli's
he's worth the
just
25 mil?
No, I'd pay 20.
really. I mean, I think he's the class striker. But I mean, what I've seen from him, he can also take free kicks. I've already mentioned this,
Mm-hmm.
but I think he's a perfect backup. And 25 is a bargain, if you ask me, because he used to be 50 million, and maybe Napoli actually are quite desperate to sell him. Maybe he's actually not happy, and because don't forget that Napoli have players like Mertens challenging him for the striker.
Mm-hmm.
I actually always thought we should have went for Mertens because at some point he was worth 15 million.
Yeah. To quote the All or Nothing doc again, though.
Again,
I'm going to keep coming with these. I'm going to quote Daniel Levy this time. It's a bad look for a club to sell someone. He said of Christian Eriksen's stature, but of Arkadiusz Milik's stature, or to get rid of him and let him leave on a free. So I think Napoli will be looking to sell him, if not now, definitely in January, because they won't want to lose a player like that for free when they could get 20, 25 mil. Maybe they could probably get more if another team got interested, but that's just another sign that we should probably, if we really want him, if that's the striker that we're going for, get him in now. And another thing on if that's the striker we're interested in is that I think it's become frustratingly clear that coming into this window, we didn't know exactly who we wanted for striker. And how do you not know what striker you want? We've had 18 months.
We need to. You just got me onto this topic. We need to be more ruthless. I mean, yes, we were ruthless with getting we were ruthless with getting Doherty. It only took us like 2 days, but still, we need to be more ruthless for the big players. Like for Dybala, it took us a really long time, and then on the end, it didn't work out. So for the bigger players, for the better players, just like Chelsea, they just signed a few really class players quickly. Or I mean, actually, Havertz took time, but Thiago Silva, a few other players, they took really quick they were really quick to sign them and snap them up, and they were ruthless. And we need to be ruthless like that if we want to succeed and compete with big teams. Because a few years ago we beat Real Madrid 3-1. I cannot see that happening again in a while.
Did you say that he went down to 25 million?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I think 25 million. I think in January we're going to sign him for just under 20.
I can see that.
It's too late in January. That's the problem.
Yeah, I know it's January, but like still, Levy will do anything to get a bargain, and I think he'll sign him in January for a very low fee if that's what he's going for now.
We'll sign him in January after Kane's been injured for a few months.
Yeah.
I mean, unless we bring up Keon Etete from the U18s, I think is where he's playing, or Dane Scarlett from, I don't even know which team he's playing for.
I actually rate Dane Scarlett. He seems to have really good stats in the youth league.
I don't think we should have sold Llorente.
No, we should have signed a contract extension for him. We definitely should have. I don't know why we let him go. I mean, he went to Napoli and he scored important goals for them. I mean, Fernando Llorente seems like he scores big goals in big games. I mean, he scored for us against Dortmund, against Man City. Nothing about both of those were like kind of crappy goals that came off of his hip or like glanced off his forehead. But I mean, he scored for Napoli against Liverpool, I believe. So I mean, he's not a top quality striker, but he's Premier League proven, and I think he'd get the job done. He's pretty old, but I feel like that would be perfect for us. We get someone like Fernando Llorente in, they play a season with us, and then Troy Parrott comes through the ranks from his loan at Millwall, and he's just getting ready to go. Really
Yeah.
take his Spurs career by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah, I agree. Him and Skip.
Hmm.
And who knows,
I'd like to
maybe
see.
even Jack. I like the look of also I like the look of Jamie Bowden and Harvey White when they played.
I did too. Jamie Bowden didn't get too much playing time, but he came on for like 9 minutes in one of the preseason games, and he had a few nice tackles. So I think he's a good one for the future. Same with Harvey White, not necessarily tackles, but he seemed like he could create opportunities.
Yeah, Alfie Devin.
At this point, we might as well give a chance to Jack Clark.
Is his name Alfie Devin?
I like Jack Clark. I think Jack Clark will probably be given a chance to impress against Lokomotiv Plovdiv on Thursday, probably alongside Eric Lamela.
Is his name Alfie Devine or Alfie Devin?
I think it's Divine.
I don't know exactly.
All right. Well, anyway, I think he was also very good at picking passes out.
Mm-hmm.
The Spurs, the youth in the midfield was very promising during preseason.
It was.
Also, Carter Vickers as well. I thought he put a good shift in.
Mm-hmm. I think, unfortunately,
against Birmingham, Carter Vickers was quite shambolic, but yeah.
I thought, I mean, I might be biased because I'm American, but I think Carter Vickers is pretty good. I don't think he'll be given a chance to really impress for the Spurs.
He is good,
team.
but he's not that young anymore. He's like 21, 22.
He's actually, I think he's 23.
Oh, even worse. I think it's a bit too late for him to become a world-class centre-back, but I'm sure he'll become a good player.
Yeah, I think he'll probably get some playing time against like Lokomotiv Plovdiv maybe, or against someone in one of the early cup games.
I can actually see us somehow bottling that game, and imagine losing.
I am nervous. I'm a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie, but I do think that he'll get some playing time in some of our early games, and then we'll end up either selling him or he'll end up on another loan, which will turn into a permanent deal.
Yeah. So let me just ask. How long have we been doing the pod? Because we're kind of running out of talking points of the match and other stuff.
We've been doing it for about 50 minutes. So.
Okay, so a bit more then. So the All or Nothing episode, the last 3 episodes are coming out tomorrow, I think. I'm excited. I've even heard rumors that in the last episode, like they'll show that Jeff Bezos. I mean, I actually don't know how to pronounce his surname.
Bezos.
But yeah, the Amazon CEO like buying us. Like in the last day, and on the end of the last episode, I heard a rumor, but I don't think it's true. Obviously,
I don't think it's true.
Imagine.
Here's a good talking point. What do you make of the whole Amazon situation? How there's rumors that Amazon might buy Tottenham.
I mean, it's interesting for sure. I think they'll probably. I don't know. I think that they may end up getting the naming rights to the stadium, and it'll be like the Amazon Arena probably. But I don't think they'll buy the club. And if they did, it would be interesting for sure. I don't know who they would put as the chairman.
If they did, we'd be the richest club on the planet. I mean, he's worth 100 times more than all the other owners together in the Prem. He's worth like 2 billion. He's the richest man on the planet.
I saw a thing that said the average person is closer to being a millionaire than Jeff Bezos. That's just how much money he has. But then would we turn to a team like Everton where we just splash the cash on big names and they totally flop? In that case, I almost hope that Daniel Levy would stay as the chairman and he would just he'd be able to use the money to sign the bigger players, but he'd be able to sign the better players. Because it doesn't seem too often that we sign a flop. I mean, it's been quite a while since we've signed a real flop, I think.
Actually, I don't think that's true. I think our transfer business has been very unlucky in the last few years, in the last decade at least. Think about it. We sold Bale for 80 million or whatever. and the Bale money was wasted, in my opinion. Think about it. Lamella flop.
It
I
was.
mean, he's good. He's still good, but at the time
Lamella
he
and
was.
Ericsson are the only two that really.
Yeah, but still, Lamella at the time was seen as one of the hottest talents in Europe from Roma,
Mhm.
and
I
that
wish
that
we'd sign.
definitely didn't work out. He didn't score a single goal in the Prem that season or something. And also
Mhm.
think about it: Paulinho,
Kirikesh, Nasser Chadli.
Giovanni dos Santos, Soldado. None of these, even Bentaleb, none of these players got to their potential at all. I mean, Giovanni dos Santos, no one
Except for
even knows who
Ericsson.
he is anymore. So, except for
I don't
Ericsson.
even remember him, to be
Uh,
honest.
yeah, I mean, I, I only found out about him recently that we even had him. So, you know,
Oh wait, no. He plays for the LA Galaxy now, doesn't he?
no, he left LA.
Oh,
I
but he
don't know
did.
where he played.
I had no idea we signed him. To be completely honest.
Yeah, we signed him from Barca. He flopped one season for Barca, but before that, he was like one of the hottest European talents, and we signed him when he was 21. But yeah, he really flopped. Like he was bad. He had like a party problem, like all other
Uh,
Brazilians. So
except for Lucas Moura.
yeah. Actually, talking about Lucas Moura, I think he was actually one of the better players today. He won the ball a few times. He was always pressuring them, but he didn't
Mhm.
again create anything.
I was disappointed by Stevie Bergwijn, who I mean I consider to
He
be a
really
better
did
player.
nothing.
I don't think he created too much when he came on, but I hope he gets to start against Southampton, get more time on the field. I do like Lucas Moura, but I think Bergwijn I think is immensely talented and could be one of the really really good
I
player.
see Bergwijn as the next Van der Vaart for us. Very important player.
Yeah, the thing
But
is, right? I think that the whole attack, it's very good, but Everton's back line was so tight, confined, and it's strong. It was just too tough to break them down. The only way we were able to even find a pocket of space where we could even sort of create a chance was when we played quick 1-2s using all the
Mhm.
players on the pitch at once.
like Doherty and Kane when they did the 1-2.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Doherty nearly scored. Stuff like
That was
that.
our
You need
best
to
chance.
find, you need to make the
But
right runs and
but the
everything.
thing
And
is, I actually
loads of players made the right runs, but the midfield didn't spot them and didn't play the passes in. So it just nothing really ever built up.
yeah yeah you're spot on with that. But actually, I've noticed recently like all the teams we play, even teams like Watford, their defense is always so compact against us, and we just
Mhm.
never seem any team. We never seem to break. We always struggle to break any team's defense, even like poor defenses. It's really annoying. But yeah, I think I think it's pretty much the end of the podcast now. So it was obviously a poor performance today, but I think we
Mhm.
move and hope for the best against Plovdiv. So
Any last
yeah.
comments from you guys?
No, not really. No.
All
I
right.
think we've gone over everything that we had planned. So
Mhm. Well, can't wait for Giovanni Lo Celso to get back. This has been
yeah,
another episode of the
Yeah.
Hotspur House. Today I was joined by Bodie from thfc.house and Charlie from N17 Nation. Thank you guys for coming.
yeah, it's
Uh,
been great. Thank you.